Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for joining. We're going to be doing the fluffy squirrel. I just think he's so cute. And so this is the, we'll get started again. This is the stamp set. It's called Fluffy Squirrel. Thank you, Rebecca. This is the Fluffy Squirrel, and then it has a coordinating builder punch. Fluffy Squirrel builder punch. So I'm going to show you how to use that. Oh, shoot. Well, we'll just, can you hear me? You must be able to hear me. So we'll just go ahead and do the best we can, and then I'll be calling them. So I stamped, so I'm going to show you how to stamp this. I stamped the squirrel, and this is the one that matches the die, the punch, excuse me. I stamped the squirrel in basic black, or black memento, tuxedo. And now I'm going to add, oh, and I forgot to put my, I'm going to show you. I think some of you know that, thank you, Rebecca. Some of you know that Stampin' Up! Is going to discontinue making the wood stamps, well, the cling stamps. And so they're going to be just making photopolymer starting with the new catalog that will come out in January. So one thing I recommend if you don't have is to get you a mat, because as you know, photopolymer does not have the foam underneath the stamp set, so it really does help to have the foam. So I'm inking up in Pecan Pie and inking up the squirrel, and this is really easy to do because it matches perfectly, and then you just stamp, and that's how you color him in, or you could color him in if you're good at coloring him like that. So that's the one, and that will be the one that will punch out with the punch. And so, oh, I see I've got a little bit of I made it too high, so I'm going to have to cut a little bit of that off. And so now I'm going to punch him out. And it also has the acorn, which we will use on this card. So I'm just punching him out. And there's your little squirrel. And then there's another squirrel that actually is the other way. He faces, so I'll just do I've got this one open, I'll just use this. So you can just stamp him, and then you can stamp his body and color his body, and then you can just stamp him like that and use him like that, or you can cut him out. You can fussy cut him. So that's really cute. And it's got some cute sayings. It's got a little wood here, which I'm going to use. And it says, "Go nuts, it's your birthday. May you gather happiness and can't wait to see you again." And then it has a little present, a little flower, an acorn, and the little crosshatch. So it's a really, really darling set. So I already cut him out. So this is the card. And I'll give you the measurements first, and then we'll make it real quick, and I'll show you the other ones. Oh, good. Hi, Laurie. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully we'll get through this real quick. So I'm using crumb cake cardstock as my base. Card base 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So crumb cake. And then for the inside, I'm going to be using the basic white for the inside, 5 1/4 by 4. And then we're going to put this here. So this is the Autumn Toile Designer Series paper, and I cut that 5 1/4 by 3/4 inch. And then for the front of the card, I'm using the Autumn Toile as well, 5 1/2 by 3/4 inch, and then this pretty pumpkin, which is 5 1/2 by 1 3/8. And this has actually got some acorns on it, so I thought that would be pretty for that. And then we have, this was the basic white for stamping, but I already did that. So this is the basic white, and this is using the branching out dies, and they have become my favorite dies right at the moment. I just love them. And so this is the basic white that is, you cut it 4 1/8 by 2 5/8, and then you cut it out. I always cut it just an 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch bigger, just so I don't have any problem with that. So we'll now go get to putting this card together. So we're going to start with the crumb cake cardstock, and I'm going to furnish that. And then we're going to add the Autumn 12 paper, and this is going to go on the front. And I'm going to use some adhesive, and I'm going to put this right down here at the bottom. And if you get it just off a little bit, you can always just trim it off, just turn it around. And I'm going to add this. I love this stripe. And there's another paper that's online that's called Autumn something. And I didn't buy it. I forgot. I just realized I didn't buy it. That would have been really pretty with this card too. So I'm going to stamp the Go Nuts, It's Your Birthday. And I'm going to use the basic black. As I said, I can't find my early espresso stamp yet. And I used it last week, but I don't know where I put it. So Go Nuts, It's Your Birthday. And again, I'm going to put my pad underneath so I get a good Go Nuts, It's Your Birthday. I just think this is so cute. My brother-in-law's birthday is coming up. I'm going to give him this card. So then we're going to put the inside pieces in. So I'm going to use the basic white, and I'm going to add some of the Autumn 12 paper to the inside. I'm going to add that right here. And I see I got just a little bit over, so we'll just trim that off. Sometimes my eye isn't straight. And I'm going to add this to the inside. And then I have the little guy. So I cut out this, and I have the little guy. And so he's going to go on here, but first I'm going to stamp the wood that he's sitting on, the stump that he's sitting on. So we'll stamp that on here. And I'm going to get that down fairly close to the bottom. So I'm putting, and then I'm going to mount him on the piece of on the stump with dimensionals, and then we're going to stamp the acorn, and I will stamp and I'll punch it out. Get those little pieces off. I carry these all over the house with me, the backing to the Stampin' Dimensionals. So he's going to be here, and then we're going to stamp the little acorn. So there's the acorn. Better shut that up. I know what's going to happen if I don't. I'm going to color that before I punch it out. So I'm going to add some, oops, other end. I'm going to add some crumb cake using my Stampin' Blends, and then I'm going to add some pecan pie to the top. Isn't that cute? I just think he's so cute. And then we're going to punch that out. Oh, I got it. That's okay. I'll just punch the whole thing. So I gotta turn it this way. I should have put it at the bottom. We'll see if we can get that in there and get him punched out. Okay, I'll go this way. And we're gonna punch that. There's the acorn. And we'll take a I'll take just a small piece of, I have to use the edges, and I need a half a piece because it's too big for a whole one, or you could just use a mini, but I don't have them here. So they're across the room. So now we're going to put the little acorn in his hand. And then I'm going to, as you can see, I cut a hole in the top and put in some of the baker's twine. So I'm going to punch that out. This is the there's 3 little punches that you can cut for tops. And I'm using the baker's twine. This is the linen color look baker's twine. And I'll add that to that top to make it a tag, and then we'll add that to the front of the card. So you just bring it through, double that up, bring it through, and I'll turn that off a bit. I don't need it really long. And then I'm going to add this to the front of the card with Stampin' Dimensionals. There. Now we'll see if we can get these off real fast. And this will go on the front of the card like this. And then I'm going to add some of the, these are called Cajun Craze and Gold Gems. And I think they're so pretty. They have gold flecks in them. And we'll add some of those to the front just to make it, just to finish it off. And I'll put one little one right here. So there's our card. Really, really quick and easy. I just think it's just darling, and that little squirrel just tickles me. Just tickles me. I think he's so cute. So now I'll show you the other ones I made. Of course, you know me, I have to make a few more. So this one, I'm using the Storybook Moments Designer Series paper. Isn't that cute? And it says, "May you gather happiness." I think that's so cute. And then here's another Go Nuts, "It's Your Birthday." I don't know if you can see, but behind there, I use an embossing folder, and it's called Gathering Moments. No, Gathering Leaves embossing folder, and it's a 3D embossing folder. And so I put the the acorn there, and then I put the gift between them. And I actually just stamped both of them. I didn't cut them out. I didn't punch it out. I think that's so cute. And then here's another one. I used the Timeless Plaid with this one, and as you can see, I got some. And I actually fussy cut this little guy. I can't get that out of there right now. I'll get it later. But I fussy cut this guy, and then I popped him up with some dimensionals. And then the last one, I used the Timeless Plaid again. And it says, "Can't wait to see you again." And then there's a flower. And I think that's so cute. So these are the ones I made. And then this is the ones that we made today. So I think this is just a darling set, and if you need it, you need to get it, because you know how these things go. But I just think these are so cute. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm really pleased with this little set, and I can see me getting a lot of use out of this in the future. You know, the kids, these would be darling for the little kids for their birthdays. So anyway, thank you, and thank you for hanging in there. Hi, Dina. Thanks for coming back. I just think there's no words. So these, I am actually moving my blog, so I won't be blogging until it gets all moved over and I learn how to blog. So I will add these pictures into the Facebook page so you can, and with their measurements and all the products, so that you know what I made. So just come to this page and I will have all of these in there with all the measurements so that you can see them all. And then once I get started blogging again, I do like to put them on my blog. So thank you everyone for
coming and joining. And for those that don't comment, I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with it. So, but I'm glad you're here, and I hope you get some enjoyment out of this and that it will spark your creativity. So have a wonderful day. Thank you.